Hey everybody, Tad Carlson back at it again for my first round in a very long time with quarantine going on. So I'm going to be playing a solo round, trying to stay away from everybody, trying to stay safe out here at Lohman Park in Urbana. It's a very easy 9-hole course, 2 sets of tees, well 3 really, but 2 permanent sets of tees, 9 baskets. So I'm going to be playing this round, and to make it a little more challenging for myself, I'm going to be actually playing worst shot doubles with myself, which basically means I'm going to take 2 shots from every location, and I will take the worst shot of those 2. So for putting, that's the big deal. Basically, I have to make both of my putts for it to be able to count. Otherwise, I have to play from wherever it went. So I'll go ahead and try and film this as best I can, and we will see how this goes. So here we go. Alrighty, everybody. Hole 1 here at Lohman. So this is white, which is the easier of the 2 courses. So this is my pine on my first drive, and it looked pretty good out of my hand, but hits the tree that's about maybe 25-30 feet just short of the basket. This one's kind of a low ceiling, slight hyzer, and that is not what you want to do. Absolute grip lock into the first available tree. So scrambling for my par already here. So this is my habit up shot. This one was pretty good, maybe 15 feet at most, and then I just decided to throw my buzz again because it's already on the ground, and that one's even closer. So onto the putt here from the habit, maybe not even 15, 10 feet. First one in, second one in, out with my par. Hole 2 is not very long. It's only like 220 feet maybe at most, and it's a pretty easy just forehand hyzer / spike hyzer. I threw my zone first, let that get away from me a little bit to the right, but I'm still maybe 25 feet out. It's not too bad. This one's my pine. This one stood up a little bit more than I was expecting it to, so it lands maybe 15 feet left, but I'll be taking the zone. So here's my 2 putts from the zone. First one in, low left, just barely. Second one felt much better, out with a birdie. So I am 1 under now. Hole 3 here is kind of a weird hole. It's maybe 240, 230, somewhere in there. And there's a middle gap that some people like doing. I usually just throw this big hyzer play. That zone just too early. I didn't really read the wind well on this. We had a slight like tail / left to right that kind of beat down the disc a little bit. So my zone hit one of the earlier trees. So now I got this kneeling shot from maybe about 110, 100 feet-ish. So that was my zone, or my habit. This one's my zone. Neither of these are really close. My zone was slightly further away. Here, maybe at 15. Both of those in, away with a par. Still 1 down. Alrighty, here's hole 4. This one's pretty wide open, and I definitely feel that I should be getting this one. Right up until this point, this one was a grip lock with the habit. At this point, I was realizing maybe I needed to throw a little bit more before I was ready for a round after so long in quarantine. So here's a KC Pro AVR. That one just stood up again a little bit more than I was expecting, and it's a little bit further right than I was hoping. So this one's maybe about a 45-footer right on this wide open hole. Not really acceptable. That one just a teeny bit left. This one doesn't really matter at this point, off the front cage. So here's my tap-ins. Pretty easy for my 3. At this point, I'm a little disappointed, only being 1 down through 4 on white. White is pretty easy, but coming up here, I've got some definite birdieable holes. Here is hole 5. Just kind of another nice forehand hyzer. This one I put a little too much angle on. Didn't quite get it as flat. That was my zone, so I'm maybe 30 feet right, I think. Here's my pine again. Throwing this one, hoping to get this one a little bit flatter, and it does, but I didn't play it wide enough left on this one. But that one's maybe 20 feet long right. So here's my 30-footer from my zone. First putt. Ooh, I thought that one was in, just a little left, just a little too much. This one doesn't matter, but it felt good to actually make a putt finally. Here's my tap-ins. There's 1, 2, still 1 down now through 5 holes on white. So here I decided to disc up. This one's my intervention, which I've been really liking for these forehands. Put that one up quite a bit of hyzer. That one's a little bit too far right. I didn't play that one as far left as I was hoping again, but still definitely a makeable putt. Here is my Firebird. This one I'm hoping to correct a little bit. This one's a little more overstable too, so hopefully it'll dive down a little bit quicker. And that one was pretty good. So here I've got maybe about a 25-footer from my intervention, and that was just not committing to the putt. I don't know, I just didn't feel comfortable over this one before I putted, and I mean clearly it shows. So unfortunately, off the front cage means no birdie. Alright, I'm gonna make myself go for the gap on this one instead of the easy around hyzer forehand. Alrighty, so going for the more challenging line, but also the ace line, which is a little bit more fun. This is my habit here. This one's only like 170, so it's not really much of a challenge. I thought I aced that one. I missed that one by probably about half foot to the left of chains. That was pretty perfect. Here's my KC Pro AVR. This one just turns over a little bit too much. This disc must be getting more beat up than I thought it was. Got a good chance but still not too bad. Here's the putt from my KC Pro AVR, maybe 20 feet. That one felt good, dead center. And another one dead center. Feeling my putt a little bit better now, so that's 2 down through 7. Hole 8 here is like really the only tunnel shot out here at Loman, and it's only like 200 feet, so it's not bad. And this one was a little bit left, but if anybody knows Loman, there is a shed that is just a teeny bit left on this hole that if you hit it on the right angle, it'll kick it towards the pin, and that's exactly what happened. KC Pro AVR turned it over a little bit too much, but nicely hit a tree directly behind the pin and dropped. And yes, that was my worst of them. Alrighty. On to hole 9 here. Hole 9, here's my habit. That one was, I thought, pretty good, but just a little bit left. Catches a tree, and maybe a 25, 30-foot putt. Here's the KC Pro AVR, and I'm a broken record with this disc that turns over just a little bit too much and hits the tree. So here's my putt from where my habit was. Let's see how I do. The tree isn't really in the way on this one. I can take my normal putt here. That first one was just a little high right. That second one, I'm going to blame the wind. The wind dropped that dramatically into the pole. So, taking my par on this one. I believe I'm 3 down now through white, which is a bit lower than I was hoping going into that, because white is so easy. Here is my pine hole 1 for red. This shot is kind of a weird shot shape. You almost have to play a skip shot, which is what I do here with my pine, and then this is my buzz, which I'm also going to be throwing next. And both of them felt pretty good out of my hand, and both of them got a little bit of a skip, which I was happy about. The ground's fortunately pretty hard, which is kind of rare. So here's maybe a 15-20 footer for birdie, which I'm feeling happy about. That one felt good, dead center, and that one just hurts. Dead center, off the pole, spit out. Doesn't count. Well, that was unfortunate. Why you gotta do that to me, basket? Par. And that is just sadness. So hole 2 red here. This is my intervention again. This one is just throw a high forehand hyzer basically, and that's pretty much what I do there. That one, I believe, was a little bit left, maybe about 30 feet. Didn't quite get that one as high as I was hoping. Again, hoping to correct with my Firebird here. Firebird definitely got that one a lot higher. Wind took it a little bit, so it's pushing a little bit further right than I was hoping, but that one's maybe 15 feet right. So here's my putt from my intervention. That first one felt good, just dead center. Here's the second one. And that one just off the band, good commitment. Just was expecting the wind to drop it just a little bit more than it did. It floated on me and hit the band. So there's a par again. Hole 3 here on red. Still 3 down overall. So this one's kind of just a further hyzer than on 3 for white. And another one. This one was my Explorer. I felt pretty good on this one, but this one drifted on me quite a bit long. So I'm over by the picnic table. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a little bit long of the pin. And here's my Firebird. I'm trying to get this one pretty high in the air, and I do not get that high in the air at all. So I hit a tree and drop, and I'm almost in the same spot as when I played white for this hole. Just a little bit further, actually. So I've got this kneeling approach from maybe 120 now. Casey Pro AVR and a Habit, both very close. Both with a tapping. So there's my par. Hole 4 for red is not too long, but it plays uphill a bit. I don't know. This one's always a weird hole for me because I can throw a fairway driver, which is why I threw here my Explorer on a decent amount of hyzer. Got it up there a little bit short left, but overall pretty good shot. But I can also throw this Pine, which is a mid-range, and get it up there pretty easy on hyzer also. So it's kind of a weird hole overall. Both of them pretty good overall, as you can see here. So my putt from my Explorer, a little bit high, but good. And that one's good correction, dead center. So that's a birdie. Alrighty, I am sitting here on hole 5 red. I'm going to be letting a couple casuals play through. But so far, I think is how I can describe my round. I've had a couple good holes, had a couple bad ones. I can't seem to get 3 in red or white, so that's not pretty. But we'll try and do better. I'm kind of going for 7. I kind of had that number in mind before I started playing, so that'd be 3 more birdies. I think I'm at 4 down. We'll see. I think this next stretch definitely has some birdie holes, so if I can get those, I will be happy. Alrighty, so we've got hole 5 red. This is you kind of have a choice. You can either go with this hyzer play or you can go with a forehand play. So I've got my Explorer here for the backhand hyzer, and you want to have kind of a straight hyzer that falls left at the end versus more of like a kind of swinging hyzer, and that one worked out pretty well. I was originally going to throw my FD on a straight line, or on a slight hyzer line, kind of like my Explorer, but the wind was picking up at this point a little bit, so I decided to switch and throw the Destroyer forehand, and it worked out really well. Just kind of a forced flex forehand with the Destroyer to maybe 12 feet, and my Explorer was even better, so happy to get another birdie here to be 5 down now. Hole 6 here for red. I've got my Destroyer again on this one. I don't know what's wrong with me, but a common problem for me with forehands is when I'm throwing something that's overstable on hyzer, I try and throw it really hard and get a poor release usually out of it, versus something like my intervention here, which isn't nearly as overstable as my Destroyer, a much cleaner release out of it, and much closer. So this is from my Destroyer, maybe 25 right of the basket, and those are 2 good putts. I am happy to be birdieing that one again. So now I believe I'm at 6 under, which is pretty good. Hole 7 here, kind of a weird hole. You've got this tunnel line up the middle, which is what I'm going for. You've got a like tight forehand hyzer line, which I see some people go for. You've got like this backhand skip shot that some people go for. You've got a forehand roller. You've got a huge anhyzer. You've got a wide forehand hyzer. But all of those options, none of them are very good. I hit the gap on both of mine, but they drifted just a little bit too far right. So this is from my habit. Maybe 30 feet right, and missed both of the putts, so that's unfortunate. Tapping them in for a par. Still at 6 down. Hole 8 here is a kind of just slight hyzer through a pretty wide tunnel. So here's my habit. This one's only maybe 220 also. So pretty easy. Habit straightened out a little bit too much, so I'm a little bit right of the pin, but not too bad. KC Pro AVR follows almost the same line as the habit, honestly. Again, a little bit too far right, but not too bad overall. Here's my putt. Got the first one, hoping to get this next one to make my goal, which what I was originally thinking of, which was 7 down. So I'm happy to make that one. Alrighty. Hole 18, I'm at 7 down now, so we'll see if I can make it 8. I met my goal already, so. So for this one's kind of a weird shot. You can either go with a sweeping hyzer or more of a straight direct line. I like this sweeping hyzer line, so that's my pine, and that one was pretty good. I'm pretty happy. Maybe 10 feet, 15 feet, somewhere in there. Not bad at all. Here's my buzz also, and almost identical, honestly, just a little bit further, skipping a little bit long, but not bad at all. So you see both of my discs here, both easily within 15 feet, so not bad. Here is my putt for birdie, and I get both of them. Alright everybody, so that's 8 down for 18 holes of Worst Shot Doubles Red White at Loman Park in Urbana. Definitely could have been a lot worse, but also definitely could have been a lot better. I noticed my putting was a little bit off today. I was having trouble committing to putts. I think that's partly just mental. I haven't been on a course for a while actually playing disc golf, so well, hopefully I can shake that out. If you like the content, please like and subscribe to my channel for more of this type of content. Please visit my sponsor, Plastic Addicts. I think it's on this side. Plastic Addicts for all your disc golf needs, and you know, stay safe, and if you can, throw some discs.